a nice little couch though. Might have to give me something like this.
Very old, man. IKEA.
IKEA. That's the place.
Alright, man. Here we go, man. It's starting. Fuck it. Let's go.
Alright. So what's up, guys? Isaiah here, aka Zay the Barber on Instagram. You know what I mean? YouTube, Instagram, all those things. I'm a barber.
Oh, man. Hold on, man. Slow down. Whoa. Okay. Okay.
All right.
The barber. How old are you, man? Talk about it. Where you're from? Come on, man.
Yep. But I'm 20 years old. I'm from Sacramento. Grew up in the Elk Grove area, so I'm really familiar with this area. But you know what I mean? Like, it's been a long journey. I think some of the things I want to talk about today is just as far as like I've come and what started out as far as just being a barber in general, what I've gotten into, and then just some exciting things that's just been happening the last couple months and stuff like that. So, but I want to say, you know, I mean, I appreciate the opportunity to have this interview and be able to speak.
On, man.
You know what I mean?
Hey, man, we happy to have you here, man. Thank you for your time.
Yep.
So let's take us from the beginning. You're 20. You're a barber. When did you start?
Okay, so like my journey kind of started when, you know what I mean, 13 years old. My dad was like, you know what I mean, you got to get your hair cut, but either I'm going to do it or, you know what I mean, we're going to take you to the shop, but you got to pay for it. And you know, at 13, you know, that's a tough decision. Your dad, you know what I mean, keep fucking up your lineup. You know what I mean? And for me, it was like, I mean, 13 years old, you ain't got no money. At the time, I think haircuts was like $15 or something like that. It probably wasn't really that expensive what it is now, but I remember that was tough. I was like, man, I got cut by this barber, and he really, you know, gave me a clean, fresh cut. I loved the environment of the barbershop when I was there. It was like when you was at the barbershop, you seen everybody making money.
Right.
You seen the conversation, the funny shit. You seen a lot of good stuff that it was just intriguing to me. And I remember my dad was like, you know, I could just, you know, get you some clippers and you can start practicing on yourself. And one day I came home, my dad had a box of clippers. It was like some old cheap ones, you know what I mean?
The Walmart ones with the colors on them?
Yeah, it was some cheap old clippers, but you know what I mean? At the time, it was like, you know what I mean, that was the best thing your dad could have gave you. He was like, well, let's get in this bathroom, let's start lining myself up. And you know what I mean, the first time, you know what I mean, I messed my whole hairline up, pushed it all back. Yeah, just grimy.
Did you go to school though?
Yeah, I did.
You rocked it?
Yeah, and I remember it was like that. It was a bad school day.
How was they treating you?
Oh man, I remember so it was like the worst thing because I actually like cut my whole eyebrow off. Like,
what?
I cut the whole eyebrow off. It was like one of those clippers that like was like really wide, and when I had lined it up, it just took the whole eyebrow off. And I remember going to school, and I was like, you know what I mean? Everybody was like, bro. It was like, bro, what happened to your eyebrows? And I remember that day vividly. It was like if you ever had one of those moments where you're like, hey, what's the worst day of school you ever had? Like, that's gonna be the moment I tell like my kids or like, you know what I mean, people when I'm older, a lot older, just like, that was the moment. And ever since then it was like, you know what I mean, like you just cut your homies, you know, cut your brothers, I continuously cut myself, and you just continuously got better. Right. I mean, it was a struggle, you know what I mean? The first 3 or 4 years was like, you ain't see no progress. You know what I mean? You ain't
like in your talent or just
a little bit of everything, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? There was no money really involved. There was like, as far as like just trying to build clientele, there was no like real progression as far as like my skills was getting better, but it still could have been a lot of work on. And I think the journey was more of this, I was just building a lot of foundation, you know what I mean? I was just in that, like, you know what I mean, cooking stuff up, but you know what I mean, you may not got the results you was looking for, but it just took time. And the last 3 years is kind of like around the time I've been getting all my results. You know what I mean? The followers on Instagram. I had the clientele started up like really well, charging like $30 to $40. You know what I mean? Like
so
3 years ago.
When you started, was social media what it is now?
Yeah.
Or was you like tell me how the social media aspect started?
Yeah. So it was almost like I had built my own clientele already. You know what I mean? I was charging like $25, $30 dollars at the time.
Is that the going rate? Like, what is like?
Yeah, the 25, 30, you know what I mean? And that, you know, I was booked out, you know, making my chips, you know what I mean? And it got to a point where I was just like, you know, clients after clients after clients, and I started posting on social media. I started doing videos. I started doing a whole bunch of stuff and started building up some traction. Right. You know what I mean? This whole past year, I think I started with like zero. Like I started with like 1,000 followers last year, and then at the end of 2017, I had 105,000. You know what I mean?
Rewind, hold on real quick, because they're not going. You said 105?
Yes, 105.
Damn. How did that go? Like, when did you? How did it? Like, what started the whole thing? Was it like?
It was when when in the barber industry started doing these viral Instagram videos. They would create these videos, little short, little 1 minute clips, and they would have a nice little cover to it. And so I just started, other dudes at the shop, we started, cooking stuff up with that, and slowly, but surely, it just got like one of them got like 10,000 views, you know what I mean?
Damn.
One of them got like 20,000 views, you know what I mean? And you start getting into more numbers, you were really like, okay, I can push this thing, And once you build up the momentum, you build the consistency, you posting 3 times a day, I built that. And it was exciting. It was like, one of the best accomplishments, in my life, because it was like, man, I finally see myself moving in a direction that I want to, and getting some attention from it, and also feeling like, you got a purpose now.
Right.
And when you find that level of success in certain things, that's what keeps you going. And
what is success to you, though? I
think success to me is kind of just achieving your goals, and continuously achieving your goals and striving for them. I don't think you ever necessarily reach a destination where you're just like, oh, I'm done.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's definitely, success is more of like a mindset, and it's a habit. It's like, it's habitual in the things that you do. So when I was able to just, really get into that space of just building on something, right. I knew that was like, this is like what success feels like. And so it's like, I want to continue to do more things like that, whether it's, and we don't even know what we're going to continuously do right. 5 years from now. We can have certain goals, but things always switch up. I even think that this route I took wasn't necessarily what I thought I was going to take 5 years ago, but it definitely was something that, is paying off and something that I enjoy. It's like, you got to continuously to pursue your passion, and that's what kind of success comes along with. It's like, you can accomplish anything, but can you accomplish things that you're actually passionate about? Right.
At what age did you say, all right, man, you know what? I'm really nice at this haircutting thing, man. Like, at what age do you feel like you mastered it? Or did you master it?
I would say maybe around like 18 years old, right? I get into the shop. First, couple months I was into the shop, right? It was like, man, I have my skills down, I have everything, but it's just I didn't have no clientele, really. Right. And I think every barber goes to the stage where they actually master their skills before they probably get clientele. And I think it also, mastery comes with time, and it's like every master was once a beginner. So it's like, I know at this point, when you're mastering your craft day in and day out, it don't ever stop. You continuously are trying to get better at what you do. You're continuously trying to just get better. You never staying, at this, satisfying level. I'm always trying to get to that next level and figure out how I can get better.
Right. So you say your dad basically kind of started you.
Yeah.
How does he see you now? Like, after, you know what I'm saying? Like, how's that?
I think my dad at first was just giving me the clippers just to see what I would do with it. Right. And it was funny because, as I started getting more, I started cutting more throughout the years. Then my dad was like, okay, maybe I need to set him up a little station in the garage, you know what I mean? So my dad put together a little wooden thing, you know what I mean? It's kind of like where I could put all my clippers at. I could have my station at my chair. My dad mounted that up together, you know what I mean, so that I could do that. And he's always been a big help. Right. And as I started graduating, it kind of was that conversation of you gonna go to school, you gonna get a, he really wanted me to go to school. He really wanted me to get a state job. He wasn't at first thinking that this is what it was gonna be. I could really elevate to the next level. But he was, behind me as far as what I was passionate about. And, right. He would give me advice and stuff like that on what I should do, but ultimately he always knew that I was going to be passionate and do whatever I wanted to do at the point. So he was more supportive. And now it's my dad, is bragging rights at this point now. Right. You know what I mean? If you bring it up in a family conversation, he definitely going to bring you up, so it's good. And I think you just get to that level where your parents is proud of you. They just want to keep seeing you win, keep seeing you pursue your dreams.
So how was childhood? You have both parents?
Yeah, yep.
Talk about it, man. That's a rarity out here, man. I mean,
moms and dad. So it's almost like my parents are, they're both state workers and stuff like that, and they both kind of grew me up to where it was you could do whatever you wanted to do. It was I never had to go to college if I didn't want to. It wasn't it was the, strict where it was you could only be a doctor, you're gonna be a lawyer. So it was really open with whatever I wanted to do. Right. As a kid, I was like, you know, I was good in school sometimes and then bad in school sometimes, where it was like sometimes you had good grades, sometimes you didn't. And I think, you know, my parents definitely just, you know, made sure that I got into the right, you know, association with people, made sure that I was like academically passing, you know what I mean? They weren't really pushing me to try to like, you know, be the straight A student, but they weren't just gonna let me like flunk out and fail. So it was like good to just kind of like let me, you know, live through my teenage years and kind of figure myself out as far as what I'm passionate about.
Right.
And just let me kind of pursue my passion. And that's kind of what like I feel I more thank them for.
Yeah.
Is that it's more of like, instead of putting these training wheels and putting these guidelines and these strict rules, they just said, you know what I mean, figure yourself out. And I think figuring myself out did, you know what I mean, a real good blessing for me. With
having them in your corner, you said having, you know, making sure you're associated with the right people, friends. How has that been in your life?
I would say, like, I think at a young age you definitely realize that it's not about having a lot of friends. It's just about having like a few good ones. You know what I mean? Like, I think we always get associated with the fact that because we went to school with somebody or because we did this, that everybody's our friend. And that's not true at all. It's like there's just a few people that are really down for you, and those are your real friends. And then the rest of, you know, everybody is more of like associates that you know, accomplish things with through life. So it's like I don't never really you know, where I'm like out all the time, where I'm just like, oh, this person's my friend, this person, you know what I mean? I really just, you know, keep it solid with, you know what I mean, a few people like my man right here on the side. But like I just, you know what I mean, keep it 100 with the people and just be like, you know what I mean, there's always you never know who you're gonna grow with as well, because I've also built friendships with the people in the last couple of years that I think probably were, you know what I mean, new friendships, but probably some of the best friendships that I have in my life right now. So it's constantly growing and realizing that it's about keeping positive association around you, and then people who are also trying to go to where you're trying to go. It's like I'm not really worried about my history with somebody. I'm worried about where we're gonna grow as people together. You know what I mean? If I know that I'm trying to get to this destination and so are they, I know that we can have a friendship because we have the same aim in life.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
You see how mature he is? Talk, man, how are you? Sound like you got it together, man. Like, how you got brothers, sisters?
Yeah, I got 2 older brothers.
Oh, okay. So you have to grow up a little quicker? Yeah,
definitely like that. I think it was more of the fact that I had a client that actually referred a couple of books to me while I was cutting hair. And
Talk about it.
Yeah, it was almost like when you cutting hair, you just grinding, you just passionate and stuff like that. You doing a lot of things without no purpose. You just, you know, you're grinding, you don't really know what you're accomplishing yet. And when he referred a couple of books to me, like Think and Grow Rich or like, you know, Rich Dad Poor Dad, those books kind of like put this whole like system together and this purpose in my life to where I was like, okay, I know that if I focus on self-development and focus on self, then I'll figure everything else out. You know what I mean? I don't ever really like try to like chase outside forces. I just focus on within. And when I was able to really just master that and just kind of like, you know what I mean, I want to continuously to read, I want to continuously to learn about my craft, I want to continuously learn about myself and what I'm passionate about. You find your way throughout this stuff. It's like I didn't know it was going to be the Instagram that was going to be my platform. I didn't know that I was even going to be a barber at like 16, 17 years old. It was more of that I just continuously to pursue what I was passionate about and continuously to seek within what my strengths were and focus on those things, and that's why I continuously to kind of excel in certain things. It's like I don't know what I'm gonna do in a year from now, but I know I probably will succeed because I'm just gonna be focusing in on within. Right.
Man, you're a deep brother, man. So make sure y'all get them books. We'll make sure we have the links in the bottom, right? Yeah. Can't say Amazon without getting paid, but we just did. So no, but for sure. So with that, how do you look at just everyday life? Like, what do? You're 20 years old. You're successful. You know what I'm saying? You got on jewelry. Yeah. You know, talk about it, man. Like, what do you do? I mean, 2018, man.
I mean, I just launched my my barber education course. We came out with a 5-day boot camp where people can subscribe to my newsletter and get 5 video training videos. And then I just came out with a course to back it up so that, you know, people who are willing to invest in themselves can take a whole blueprint that I put out on far as how to become a barber, how to build social media presence, and then how to, you know what I mean, gain that, you know what I mean, that six-figure income. So it's like, I realize that sometimes it's like, you can do all these things in life, you can do anything, but if you could, like, you know what I mean, make $1 million, you got to give $1 million first. You know what I mean? I know, like, there's a bigger purpose, and my purpose is honestly to master everything that I do, but then give it all away to the person who's coming behind me.
Right.
And that's my formula, that's my purpose in this life, is to just keep growing, keep winning, but then help the next person who's behind me. Because I know, like, my journey was 7 years, but I may be able to help somebody get the same destination I'm at in 3 years.
Right.
Because I'm able to just jumpstart them and get them past some of the obstacles I faced, some of the things that were difficult as far as a barber. And so I learned that, you know what I mean, education is my route, and I'm sticking to that for 2018 and just focusing on teaching barbers and educating. And you know what I mean, we launched this on Wednesday and stuff like that, and we already then sold 60 courses, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And you know what I mean, five days. So that's my route, and it wasn't even something that I thought I was going to pursue either. That's another thing I didn't think I was going to pursue. But it's just, you know what I mean, you got to go with the hot hand sometimes. You got to go with what people want. And I think sometimes people realize that you're not, the products sometimes are within yourself. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just want what you possess, and that's a skill set and that's a knowledge. So I'm just trying to pour out my skill set and my knowledge towards other people and help them grow.
Right. So you invest a lot in yourself.
Yeah, always. That's the first thing I'll invest in, probably, is, you know what I mean, before you buy some stocks, before you buy some real estate, you know what I mean, invest in yourself, invest in your knowledge, invest in you.
How important is that to you in your life?
Number one, because I think if, you know what I mean, if self ain't right, you can't get nothing else. You know what I mean? Self-mastery is what self-discipline is. You could try to change these outside forces, but you know what I mean, I always have this thing that, and actually I don't even remember the guy's Instagram, but he said it way better than how I said it. He said, if you're trying to change the things around you, change the things within you. And so it was like, if I ever feel like I'm trying to change certain things in around my life, as far as money, as far as people, as far as any environment, you know what I mean, if I get in a car accident, I'm gonna look back at, you know what I mean, some of the things that happened within that day. What did I attract? Right. You know what I mean? So I'm learning that if anything that I want, anything I want to possess, it's just, you know what I mean, changing the things within you. So I know that investing in yourself, investing in your knowledge, investing in personal development within yourself is what's going to get you to that next level. It's not, sometimes we always think it's the trying to change other people. Sometimes we think it's about, you know what I mean, making sure that, you know what I mean, other people aren't doing stuff. We get mad at everybody else, but sometimes you gotta really look in deep inside and be like, okay, what am I doing? What you know what I mean? What roots am I, you know what I mean, planting inside that keeps growing this, you know what I mean, keeps cultivating these results. Right.
So you don't mind taking critiques from other people to like better yourself?
No,
you okay with that?
It's so funny because I think today somebody sent me a message. It was a great message. He even he told me that to work on speaking, right? And I told him, I said I appreciate you for critiquing that as well. And it's actually at this moment I'm taking some like speaking engagement courses and stuff like that, and some books, because I know that one of the things I want to master is speaking. I have a lot of knowledge, I have a lot of information to give, but I want to learn and articulate my words better. So it's like, we know that our weaknesses are our weaknesses, and people are able to critique them and able to look at them, but I know what my strengths are as well. So it's like, I'm going to run with my strengths and I'm going to go hard with my strengths, but then I'm also going to work and tweak little things about my weaknesses that I'm trying to improve.
Right. Man, I don't know, man. You sound like should you write a book or something, man? Are you thinking about doing that? Sound like you got a lot. Yeah. You sound like your head is straight on, man. Like
Yeah, I'm pretty locked in, but I think books, training, consulting, we don't know what can happen in the future. Right. It's more of just focusing in on you and kind of, you know, enjoying your life. I think me coming out this course, I've also freed up some time as far as where I don't have to be in the shop all the time. Right. So I'm like, you know, I'm at the gym hooping sometimes. Like,
oh, so you're a hooper, huh?
Like, I'm at, you know, yeah, man, I used to hoop back in high school. I'll go shopping or something, or do anything that I really enjoy, because it's like, you can only work so much to where you want to enjoy yourself. You want to maybe travel the world in, you know what I mean, 6 months. You may want to do certain things. So it's really just about focusing in on just having balance.
How do you value a dollar Like, what does a dollar mean to you?
Nothing at all. Because like Robert Kiyosaki talked about how that money is just an illusion. And if you keep thinking that the idea is that if I work for these 2 hours, I'm gonna get paid a certain amount, you kind of fooling yourself. Money is just an illusion. It's just it's a currency. We just trade value for value. And I know that even with my education, when I came out with, I knew that somebody, if I give them $10,000 worth of knowledge, I knew that they can give me $100 back. So it's not that the dollar and the value actually means anything. It's just an illusion to people that they give up for something.
Wow, it's pretty deep, man. So with material things, are you?
Oh, I like to enjoy my life.
What is enjoying your life? Talk about it. So you got on the Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. So I would say I even came out with a video on my YouTube channel about how to save money, right? But I
dropped the YouTube, man.
Yeah, the YouTube is Isaiah Ford.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all subscribe.
Yeah. But I dropped the video and I was teaching some of these younger cats and just people my generation, the millennials, about how to save money. And I told them that the formula is to pay yourself 10%. You know what I mean? And invest in yourself 10%, and the rest of it is yours. It's like that's such a small principle. That's such a small transaction. But if you probably do that till the day you die, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Investing in an IRA account or certain things, it's gonna pay you off. It's gonna compound interest. It means something. But it's the balance though, because people think that they gotta save all their money, but then don't enjoy their life. But then there's also people who just spend all their money and never have anything to save. So it's like having that healthy balance to where it's like, I know that when I make this money, I'm going to have my principles that I follow as far as savings and stuff like that. But then I'm also going to buy myself something and enjoy myself. I'm probably going to go shop and buy clothes. I already know what I'm able to spend because it's like you budgeting. You know what you're about to do with your money. So it's like, when it comes to lifestyle, it's like I have a Mercedes. I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna continue to grow, and one day, I might have a Lamborghini. It's just a process, but it's just about having a good balance with it.
Right. Looking back, is there anything that you bought and you were like, you know what, this was kind of stupid?
When I had got my first car, it was a Mercedes, right?
Right.
And it was 2014, and it was funny because I could afford it, right? But I didn't have credit. So at the time, it was almost like you were like, man, I really want this car. It's like, man, I just really want to stunt on these niggas at 18. I really just want to stunt on them, right? And the only thing that they could offer me was a 24% interest rate.
Damn.
And we all know that that's like
get him out here.
But at the time it was like I could still afford it, but it was like, but what makes you want to do something that dumb?
Right.
And looking back at it is one of those like things that you just like, I'm actually happy that I still did it anyways because it taught me something. Right. It's like with every mistake you make, just learn from it. Just don't make it twice. Yeah. You know what I mean? So sometimes when I look back at things or I make mistakes or I did certain things, I ain't really mad at myself for doing it. I'm more of just like, okay, learn it, put it in your pocket, put it in your back pocket, and know that whenever this opportunity comes again, just don't make that same mistake. Right.
With having success at this age, do you feel it's a bigger responsibility not to fail in the future? Because some people don't catch on until maybe 30. Some people don't catch on until 40. Yeah, you got it all now. The power is yours.
That's a a tricky one because it could be like somebody at my age, right, can be like, I have 20 more years until I'm 40 that I can just, do some great things. Right. But then there's also somebody who's 30 with maybe some kids or something like that and feels like pressure, right? Right. But it's like pressure is the same for everyone. Because the pressure that it is for somebody in that position could be that I need to get my shit together right now. And then the pressure for me is that, Mr. Perfect Guy, you could fuck all this shit up and then be like a failure. But I don't ever really I realize that life is a marathon and you got to stay in your own lane. Somebody who has success at 20 years old can peak in their 40 and 50s, you know what I mean? Or somebody who had their success when they were 50 can live till they're 100 and have all the success then. So it's like success comes at different times for everybody. And it's just about staying in your own lane and having your own timing. and just realizing that it's a marathon. I'm not necessarily trying to accomplish everything in these next 10 years. I'm more of just living my life and learning that it's a journey, it's a marathon. I'm not out here, and when you do, it's a benefit when you start young. It is, because you could kind of pace yourself,
right,
and do the right things. And I think the only thing, the pressure of just being young in general, is that you have so much inexperience and less wisdom, but you probably have more drive.
Right.
So somebody who's maybe older may have less drive, but he has a lot more experience to where he can make a lot more wiser decisions. And I just learned that just comes with being young. I'm not actually out here trying to, portray that I have a whole bunch of like actual experiences in you know what I mean, where I probably only have like 5 years worth of experiences. There's some great experiences in there,
right, but
I still have to, I'm still developing theory. I'm still, using my theories and practicing them out and seeing if they work. And if it doesn't work, then you revert it. If it works, keep going with it. And so I just learned that, being young, it is a lot harder to be more focused, though. I think when you get a little older, most of your friends are more chilled back, laid back.
Right.
When you're probably in your 20s, everybody around you is wild. Everybody around you is doing reckless shit. Everybody's around you, has different pressures. The ladies, all that. At 20 years old, it's a lot to deal with. But when you locked in and when you really know what purpose you have in your life, you laser focused. You ain't even really kind of worried about. You're not distracted.
No, you're not distracted by the ladies. I mean, when girls see the Instagram, I know they're like, hey.
I think it's almost like this, right? When somebody gets to the NBA, right? Everybody realizes that everybody's good. Everybody's good.
Right.
Now it's about who can train and practice and who can work on their craft to get to the next level, right?
Right.
So when I got that 100,000 followers and I got to a certain level, it was like, okay, yeah, I can succeed, but then now I have to deal with all this bullshit around me. The ladies, you got to deal with people around you, you got to deal with fake people, you got to deal with all these things around you, to where it's like, it's not even about knowing that you're successful, it's just about avoiding all these distractions. And that's the simple formula. It's like you already know you have what's capable to be successful. It's just, can you maneuver through all these situations and make it happen? So it's like when you want to look at Kobe's situation, you want to look at all these people's situations.
Right.
It's like Ezekiel Elliott, right? All these guys. It's like what the poison is.
Right.
It's like, can you avoid it and can you keep staying focused? So it's like, I already know and I already experienced and tampered with things where I'm just like, okay, I know what's going to keep me down. I know what's going to hold me down. So it's like, okay, let's just focus on reverting my energy on what makes me win. You know what I mean? I don't focus my energy on what makes me lose no more. I focus on my energy on what makes me win. Right.
Kids? Having?
No, I ain't got no kids, but I'll probably have kids when I'm like 30, 25, I don't know. Who knows?
20, man, no kids. That's put that on a tally sheet. You know what I'm saying? That don't happen too often. How do you feel about having kids in this day and age?
Oh, I think I definitely would want kids. I think it's so funny because I think I more want kids for the fact that I'm like, I want to help them pursue their passions. I want to help them live the same life that I live. I want them to enjoy their life. I want them, because I think a lot of times we as just kids in general, I think we were sheltered a lot to where it was like we were told what not to do instead of told what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it was like all this fear, you know what I mean? We were told a lot of times, we had all these fear consequences that we were told by our parents or by our uncles, you know what I mean? Don't do this because you might fail. Don't do this. But it's like, you know what I mean? I want to be able to open my kids up to an optimistic mind and an optimistic mindset to where it could be like, you know what I mean? If you wanted to be a singer, you wanted to be an athlete, you wanted to be a barber, you wanted to be an entrepreneur, you wanted to be whatever you wanted to be, I'm going to be behind them and help them and pursue their dreams. And I plan probably to have my kids be more successful than I am. You know what I mean? And that's my goal. And I even think like as far as like I ain't decided like if I'm gonna have kids at 25 or 30. You know what I mean? I ain't even decided that yet because it's almost like I don't even know what I'm gonna be feeling like tomorrow. I just focus on this moment right now, this moment today, and just accomplish what I can today. In that moment.
Do you feel that you were sheltered in any way? Thinking back.
Sheltered. I feel like to some extent I probably had a lot of stigmas and fears that were put into me as a kid, just because that's just normal. I think the greatest quote I seen one time is said that when you enter into an adulthood, sometimes you're trying to unlearn all the bad things that you were taught.
Right.
all the bad habits, all the mentalities, all the stigmas, all these, you know, pessimistic mentalities. You're trying to actually, and so I realized that when I graduated high school and I was 18, I was actually just trying to, you know, brush off some of these things that I was told for all these years. You know, I was told for all these years, you know, I mean, all about this college stuff. But then I realized that I'm like, what about credit? What about taxes? What about all these things? And so it's like, you know, I mean, there's certain things in our system that aren't always good, and when we're raised into it, it doesn't necessarily help you. But it's your job once you become an adult to make a change and to change your habits and to make things, you know, I mean, your own life. I would think like, you know, me living on my own, it was like, dang, I probably should have listened to my mom to eat my vegetables more. Like, you know what I mean? I probably should, you know what I mean, adopt that. You know what I mean? Because, no, you know what I mean? Same thing with cleaning your house. Same thing with, like, doing things. You were like, man, my mom was probably right. You know?
Right.
And so it just comes with going into this young adulthood, and it's okay. It's, you know what I mean? Just keep learning.
Living on your own, how was that? Like, I mean, just the initial, like, all right, I'm not at mom's. I'm my own spot.
You know what? It was so funny. It was actually the best thing, because I was actually able to realize that it's like, wow, you can create your own environment. Like you know what I mean, I lived in a household where there was, you know what I mean, we always had like, you know, cousins staying with us, grandma staying with us, you know what I mean, sometimes like other, you know, when cousins had kids that got taken away and stuff like that, they used to be in our house.
Right.
You know what I mean, I always had like, you know what I mean, roommates or something that was in the house that probably wasn't like my immediate family.
Right.
And so you realize that when all this bullshit be going on in households and stuff like that, sometimes it does, you know what I mean, affect you in a way that when I was able to finally live on my own, I was like, dang, I'm free. I'm free from all these environments, and now it's up to me to create it. And for me to create this, like, you know, atmosphere in my own home, you know what I mean? So I over here got posters and things that to remind me, affirmations, things in my house that I'm able to see every single day, because now I'm able to be in control. And then secondly, probably be like, the most difficult thing was for me to keep remembering to put out the trash on trash day. For real. It was like, I missed like 3 weeks in a row one time.
Oh, no. Wow.
I was like, I kept forgetting. I was like, dang, because, you know, when you think about it, sometimes your dad always used to do that, you know, growing up. And probably another thing would probably be to turn the heater off. Like,
you're a cold one.
Like, it just got to the point where you start realizing when you live on your own, you know what I mean, nobody else is going to do it for you.
No.
So I was just, you know what I mean, just realizing that I had to take care of little things, and you know what I mean, it comes with experience, and it's just, you know what I mean, it's fun, you know what I mean, continues to live your life.
It seems like you're big on like good energy and positive energy. Talk about that, like.
Well, it's like you want positive outcomes, you got to give positive energy. And I think realize too that sometimes we chase success, chase these feelings, chase these cars, chase all these things that if we're never happy in the moment and embrace the moment, how are we ever going to actually find true happiness? Because happiness isn't actually something that is controlled by material items, by success. You can have $1 million, but if you ain't happy within, that $1 million ain't gonna give you nothing.
Right.
And so I realize that when it comes to positive vibes, I'm waking up with affirmations. I'm saying things that I'm grateful for. I'm giving gratitude. You know what I mean? And doing certain things because I know that that's the type of like, you know what I mean? That's the type of like the life I want to live. I'm gonna enjoy the process. I'm gonna enjoy the moment, so that when I'm, you know what I mean, I get a house, cars, you know what I mean, jewelry, whatever it is, it's gonna be a happy moment instead of that like we're in America where we're consumers. We're just like, oh, another, you know what I mean, another, you know, shirt, another shoes. We're just getting to that discontent all the time. We're never satisfied. Right. So I learned just to be satisfied within the moment. And that's another good book, is The Power of Now. I read, like, it made me really wake up that it's like you have to be able to have a mindset within now and be content with now. Like if you know, if anything happened today, you got to be content and happy within this period of time.
Have you gotten to that point?
Yeah.
To where if you lost it all today.
Yo, bro, I be thinking every single day, like I just wake up that I'm like, you know, I almost put like this like strategy thing. I'm like, okay, I'm here in this area. I'm here in this area. I can improve in this area. You just got to come with acceptance with that. I think we sometimes don't become an acceptance with our flaws either. Like we always trying to like, you know what I mean, get better. We're always trying to get a nicer car. We always trying to, you know, feel like you want to get a little bit swole, you know what I mean, get a little bit bigger. But if you just become content with your flaws, then you probably would be a lot more happier. So it's like, I remember my mentor Chris Johnson said that we're always counting. He said we're always counting. He said, so you're either counting your blessings or the things that you don't like. So it's like we're just counters, and he said, and what you're counting will determine your emotions.
Wow.
And so that's how I got into that mindset of just like more counting more blessings, counting more you know, things that you're really grateful for, and that's what will control your emotions.
Damn. Shit's deep. We're gonna have like a whole section in the description, just all the quotes from this interview. Shit's crazy. Yeah, all of that, man.
Yeah.
So looking forward, man, you know, you're out here teaching, you know, you're successful, you know. Are the ladies, do you have a girlfriend?
I have a lady that I'm probably like pursuing, just, you know, I mean, strictly just her right now. So I'll say like, I even like realize with that, like, you gotta become content with that. You gotta be in the mode of where you gotta really focus in on cultivating relationships, cultivating people. I think about, you know what I mean, my homies. I mean, I spend more time with them, and you know what I mean, we go out and we, you know what I mean, it's like you gotta be into that mode of just like cultivating what you already have instead of trying to chase things that you're trying to pursue.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when it comes to friends, when it comes to women, when it comes to even just like my parents in general, I'm always trying to embrace now. I'm trying to embrace what I already have. And that's how you actually become happier. So when I'm driving my car, I actually feel like I'm enjoying driving my car now, because I've gotten to that moment where like I'm not looking outside of my window trying to search for the next car. I'm just enjoying what I already have. And so when it comes to women, comes to friendships, when it comes to anything, you just gotta embrace what you already have.
Right. A young guy comes up to you and say, hey man, I'm trying to be like you.
Oh.
What do you tell him?
I tell him, I said, don't try to be like me, try to be the best you. I said nobody can be a better version than you can be you. It's like, you know, we all have one, you know, thumbprint. You know what I mean? Nobody could ever replicate you. You know what I mean? And that's how I got to my point. It's because I wasn't trying to be like nobody else.
Right.
I was trying to be like me. I was trying to be the best Zay possible. And I was trying to be, you know what I mean, the best. So when it's like, when you look at it and everybody want to say, oh, you know what I mean, when you're trying to look at history down the line, right, and you be like, I want to be recognized as the GOAT, right?
Right.
You got to realize that you got to be the GOAT of you. You got to be the best Zay of you, you know what I mean? And so when I encourage people and I tell them, I'm like, dude, you're going to create your own lane. You're going to create something that's special that I can't even do, because you can't be replicated. So when you focus on your strengths, accepting your flaws, you know what I mean, embracing your moments, embracing everything that you have, and having that like courage, you're not gonna try to like, you know what I mean, be nobody else. I tell my homies all the time, like, you have strengths that ain't nobody have. You got a certain combination, you know what I mean, that nobody have. So just embrace it and just start winning with it. You don't need nothing else to give you confirmation to keep going. You don't need these extra strengths to try to. You already have the, you know what I mean, you already possess the strengths itself to create things and make things happen.
Right. Damn, man. You right, you recording this shit too, right? So,
I know.
Alright, come on, man. This nigga dropping jewels, man.
He probably recording. I told you, once you get me on camera, I'm gonna
what's crazy is it's 2018, this type of voice ain't coming from 20-year-olds. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
So like, it's just, this shit is wild to me. Like, you got a Snoop shirt on, sound like vintage hip hop.
Hey, but that's what I said. Like, you know what I mean, to these people, like, you gonna figure out what you passionate about, but you also gonna figure out what you like. I learned that in high school. You was always trying to dress like everybody else. You was trying to, like, you know what I mean, do things certain. You trying to listen to music certain, you know what I mean, the way everybody else was doing it. Like, I learned to just start embracing what you like. You know what I mean? I like my hair like this right now. You know what I mean? Next week I might get it braided in a different way. I just learned to start embracing what I like and not really care about what people think about it. And so when you live in those moments, you start doing it, that's how you get more happier. That's how you really live this true life. So it's like, I'm even like, before the interview, I was like, what should I wear? I'm like, you know what? And I was like, I like the Snoop shirt, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get those. And it's just like I realized that it's just about embracing what you like. You know what I mean? If you like them special pair of Jordans, then you know what I mean. Then wear them. Don't worry about if somebody call you a hype beast or not. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But if you know what I mean, if there's some Reeboks that you really like and you scared of wearing because they Reebok, you know what I mean, rock them. And so that's how I view it. It's like, you know what I mean, I wear what I want to wear. I do what I want to do. I listen to type of music. I even like, you know what I mean, do some real estate on the side to where I don't even show up to the property with no suit on because that ain't me.
You do real estate too?
Yeah, yeah.
This shit's crazy, man. You talk for 45 minutes and leave out real estate?
Oh, I could have. Oh, well,
everything this is for you.
Well, we was gonna get to that.
Okay, it's your time, man. So we do real estate. What we doing?
Hey, and actually, on my YouTube channel, there's the video of me actually closing my first deal back in June, and then I'm about to come out with another video because I actually closed a deal. What was it, last month? It was like a couple weeks ago, and so I actually just got into it because I was just trying to figure out, you know what I mean, some side hustles. I'm like, okay, what's some ways that I can learn about real estate? Because I know long term, that's, you know what I mean, you want to build some wealth, you want to build some residual, some income that can, you know what I mean, come in. And you know what I mean, I learned it through taking a course. That's how I kind of came up with my barber education. I was like, I took a real estate course to learn it, but I'm like, wow, I could teach a course just like this, get to the barbers. So it's like you realize that sometimes all these things feed off of each other.
Right.
All these things, you could take little pieces and little skill sets and little things in different areas and just put them all together and create your own. That's what I mean by not like replicate. No, you can't be replicated, because you could take all your experiences, all your strengths, and just put them together and start doing it in your own way. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do real estate, I'm gonna do barbering, I'm gonna do all these things in my own way that's unique. And so, you know, it's like I'm enjoying what my life is going to bring, because I don't know what it's gonna be all the time. I didn't know it was gonna be doing like wholesale real estate. You know what I mean? I didn't know what some of the things I was going to be getting into. So I'm just continuously to just see what happens. You know, me and him, you know, my partner right here, we're thinking about things that we want to do together and stuff like that, because we just, when you have that drive, you have that ambition, you feel like, you know what I mean, you could just do certain things. But I know that barbering is like my #1. You gotta have your #1. You gotta have your master. You gotta have something that you just go down, you know, in history with just like, he was known for that.
Right.
And so I know what my bread and butter is. I know what my thing is. I'm so passionate about, and that's what I'm gonna stick to. But I know that pursuing some of these other things are gonna be opportunities for me as far as an entrepreneur.
And before we get out, because we're definitely hitting that mark. Definitely hitting that mark. I have to ask, being an entrepreneur for so long, could you ever see yourself working under or for someone?
Hell no. I didn't even think you had to ask that question.
I have to. The people need to know.
Come on.
Like, what? Have you ever had a job?
I had a job for 1 week.
Doing what?
Working at the state fair.
Frying Snickers.
Hey, well, let me tell you, that's what decided that I was gonna be an entrepreneur, because I was like, man, fuck this. Like it was the fact that this manager, he kept telling me to wipe these tables down, and I was like, bro, I wiped them already 6 times. I'm not gonna wipe these tables down again. And it was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I gotta be able to wake up and run my own stuff. I gotta be able to wake up and do whatever the hell I want to do. And to some extent, being an entrepreneur though, it's more discipline. You got to be very strict and very, you know, you have nobody telling you to get up.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have nobody telling you, you know, as far as barbering itself, you know, you have clients, but if you wanted to, you block your schedule off if you wanted to.
Right.
So being an entrepreneur is more discipline, but the reward for me though is like, you know what I mean, it's the reward I'm looking for. I don't want nobody to tell me how much money I can make. You know what I mean? I want to create it. I want to create my own income, and I want to, you know what I mean, excel in it. I want to get to another level, and it's just a lifestyle that's desirable for me. It doesn't fit for everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. And I actually have a couple of clients who are in doctors and stuff like that, and they love their job. And so I actually at some point I was like at that moment where I'm just like, man, I don't know why everybody wants to be something else but an entrepreneur. But I realized that it's about doing what you're passionate about, and for some people that's the most, you know what I mean, certain careers, those are things that they're passionate about. Right. And that's all my like statement is when you're trying to pursue something, it's just like pursue what you're passionate about. Don't do a business and you're not passionate about it either. You know what I mean? Right. Like I've seen people run businesses and they wasn't passionate about. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of things. So it's like you could pursue anything you want in this life. You know, they always say it's like a quarter. You can spend it on, you know what I mean? You can only spend it once. You know what I mean? You can spend it on anything. You can spend it on anything, but you can only spend it once. So have that mentality of just choosing what you're passionate about, because, you know, I mean, from the age of 20 to 50, those are going to be your most dominant years, and those are going to be your working years.
Right. So definitely hitting that mark. Any social media, we for sure gotta have a part 2, because we gotta deep dive into why real estate and houses and all that. So any social media, anything you want to promote? Yeah, I mean, just follow me on Instagram at Zaytha_barber. Then my YouTube channel, Isaiah Ford, and you're gonna see, you know, you're gonna see my whole lifestyle. I don't really like hide nothing. You know, I'm going to be posting everything that I do. It could be a barber course. It could be a haircut that you like. It could be anything. So just, you know what I mean, engage with me. And, you know what I mean, hopefully I inspire, you know what I mean, more and more people each day. That's all I want to do, is just keep inspiring people. The amount of people that have come up to me and said things to me that are so positive, that's why I keep going. And so, you know what I mean, add me, follow me and stuff like that. And it's going to be, you know what I mean, keep watching my journey. All right, man. Until next time, again, thank you for your time. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about here. WM4T.TV. Good shit.
Yeah.
J. Joe, word up. The book to success. It's right here, man. It's easy, man. Follow this. Be in compliance. You get to where you want to get and live how you want to live, man. Word. Yeah. It's key. Peso after peso, nigga. Bankroll after bankroll, nigga. Stuff some chicken in the air.